Joining us just that little bit. Sam is coming as usual. We're getting everything pulled up here. We're really sorry about last week because I know a lot of people came back last week to watch our live stream, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, to watch our live stream replay. When a lot of people like watching the replay, but it wasn't available. So while we were streaming, at the very end of the stream, the app just crashed out of nowhere when we tried to go back in to like save the video to be reposted for you to watch later. It was just gone. Everything was gone, and so we were not. Hey, Pat, you saying hi? Hi. Oh yeah. Hey, who's that? Is that Pat? So there was no live stream replay to see, which we're sorry about. But hopefully that doesn't happen again. We still have no idea what happened. We have never had that happen before, but we enjoyed talking to those of you who were here that week, and we're sorry that replay wasn't available. But like I said, the video was just poof gone. There was nothing to go back and find or see. So hopefully that never happens again. So all right, but we're gonna be live tonight. We're excited to be live. I hope everybody has had a good Labor Day. Hopefully not too hot where you are. It's been pretty hot here, but the kids did get to play outside for a little bit, and so that was good. And picked some tomatoes and did some tomato prep for preservation. So we kind of worked on that today. So welcome, Beth. Thanks for joining us. Excuse me. So let's see. We're going to talk about the tomatoes today. And I also have a crazy story, which is why there was not a video on Saturday, which we'll talk about. We'll wait for Sam to join us here. But let's see. He's trying to make our decaf, but it's being super slow. So, welcome, Diane. Thanks for joining us. Sam has been studying hard for his big test on Friday.
Yeah.
Right? Friday is today.
It is today.
And you said if you might know that day, right?
Probably not because it's a Friday. I mean, maybe. We'll see.
Welcome, Pam and True Joy is here. Thanks for joining us. But hopefully we won't have to wait too long after you take it to know. So then you'll be officially official.
Yep.
RN BS. All right, Becky's here. Thanks for joining us in Arkansas Prepper.
Hello. Pat.
Patty, go upstairs, buddy. And Chris is here. Thanks for joining us. All right, so we'll start with the not crazy story. So tomatoes, it's that time of year, right? So gardens are getting ready to wind down. Our first frost date's not until October, but you could definitely tell like the days are getting shorter and the mornings are cooler, and so production is kind of slowing down a little bit. Let's see, you got a bunch of people. Tessa, canning salsa, awesome, and Grammy's here. Do I sound? Yeah, it's allergy season. It is, but it was also cold season over the weekend. So the next couple videos, I apologize, you have to listen to this because. All my voiceovers I've just had a nasty. It was pretty bad. I was down for the count yesterday, which Sam was awesome. He stepped up and just locked the kids out of the room for a while so I could take a nap because I felt just terrible yesterday, but feeling much better today. So.
Hello, J&B. Thanks for joining us.
But anyway, I went out to my garden, picked a bunch of tomatoes, and then one of my friends contacted me, and she said she planted 90 tomato plants this year and was just #done. Like, didn't want to see another tomato for the rest of the year. Couldn't fit another thing in her freezer. Didn't want to can another thing. And said if I wanted to come pick her garden, because she had all these tomatoes out there still, that I could have them. And not one turned down free food, especially tomatoes, which are really easy to preserve. So I went up there today and picked a whole bunch of tomatoes. And so today I worked on setting them up. Tomatoes are great though because there's no rush to preserve them. They do great in the freezer until you're ready to deal with them later, which is really nice. Some things they're really like, you just got to kind of rush to get it done. Like when you pick those gallons of green beans, like you got a couple days. That's about all you got. And you got to do something with them. And it's got to be kind of the final, it's either you're going to blanch them and freeze them and that's how you're going to keep them until you eat them, or you're going to can them and that's how you keep them to eat them. But tomatoes are great. You just rinse them. I pop out the cores if they have like a real big core in the middle. And then I just freeze them in Walmart sacks in the deep freezer. And I wait until October, until that first frost has come, the garden is dead, and that's when I can my tomatoes. And it's great because you can kind of push the pause button, because right now it's really busy. Like, you've got a lot of other things coming in that have to be taken care of right now. And so you can kind of take those tomatoes off your plate and save them, pause button, until later when things are less busy. So that's kind of what we worked on today, but it was pretty quick. It wasn't a big labor-intensive project, so. Excuse me. Lois is here from Ohio. Welcome. So Annie is back home. We were in the hospital for 5 days. Is that right?
Yeah.
And it was not like a scary emergency hospital trip. Like, this has been planned for a long time. Had to do some arguing with insurance to prove that it was necessary, which I will say her team is really good. Like, if they want her to have something, like, they're really good about going up to bat with the insurance company for us to make sure that she gets it. So anyway, she was a trooper, though. She thought she was on a spa vacation that whole week. Like, I was a little worried about a week in the hospital. Like, she's only 7, you know. That's not the most exciting place to be.
Well, and she's basically tethered to like a 15-foot cord.
Yeah, they literally, like, she's got all the EEG electrodes on her head, and they go to a backpack, and the backpack's plugged into the wall. And so she can only basically walk as far as it is from her bed to the bathroom. It's as far as she's allowed to go. So, but she did great. We played a lot of Candyland and Shoots Ladders. She got to use her tablet. We brought some school with us.
Yeah, she was ready to go home, but she was living it up.
She was.
She really was.
Her favorite thing was that in the hospital, you get to order your meals, like, on the TV screen. She just, I mean, basically took her on a cruise. She got to order chicken nuggets and french fries on the TV screen, so.
Let's see, who's Tumbling Tangles. Hello from Michigan. Did you say?
I got Lois. Yeah,
right.
Tessa says, I'm in a rush with canning our tomatoes. They're in the freezer, and our beef should be ready this week. I'm pushing it.
No.
Yeah. That's going to be me in October when our sheep come back. I still got all those tomatoes in there. Then there will be a bit of a rush. But I got a month, so I think I can get to it. I plan to I'm going to make homemade rotel, because this man here loves himself some rotel tomatoes.
I do.
And I'm going to just do, like, the regular sauces. But I'm excited about the rotel. Just seeing, you know, how good it is comparably. Would that be the right word?
Right.
Can those at half pints. And the kids love rotel, too. Now, if I could find a cheaper way to make Velveeta cheese, that would be fantastic. Because it's like $9 a log right now. For something that's, like, eternally shelf-stable, I don't understand why it's so expensive. Okay, so the other thing, our crazy story of the week, it went crazy sideways and then it ended up with happy ending. So I'll let you know there's a happy ending at the end here. So my plan was on Friday, I was in the hospital with Annie from Monday to Thursday, and then Sam came, and we didn't know what day she was going to get released on. Like, they don't really tell you. They just say it'll be somewhere between like 4 days, 7 or 8 days. Just be prepared to be here the whole time.
Waiting for her to have a seizure.
Basically,
so it just kind of depends
just watching
on
her brain. And so I left Thursday because I knew, one, the other kids need mommy time too, right? But I also knew, like, I'd want to go home for a little bit, wash clothes, things like that. And I thought, well, on a Friday, I'll just make it kind of a fun day for the kids. Like, we'll go to the city, and we'll go to a park we've never been to before, and I'll take them out to McDonald's for lunch. Because the kids, it's the only restaurant that matters. Like, I could have taken somewhere new, but they would have been upset it wasn't McDonald's. So, and then I'll do some grocery shopping while I'm there. Because, like, I had been home in a week, and I hadn't really gone grocery shopping before we went because I was really busy. And so I was like, I'm going to do I'm going to do our beginning of the month grocery haul, and I'm going to film it, and then that'll be the video for Saturday. Because all the other videos for the week I had pre-filmed and, like, uploaded, so I didn't have to worry about editing videos while I was in the hospital. So the first thing we decided we're going to do first, we're going to just pack all the coolers, and we'll go to Sam's Club and shop, and then we'll do all the other fun things. Go to Sam's Club, do our shopping, pack in the van, and then I realize, as I'm halfway through packing the trunk, oh my gosh, I don't know where my wallet is. Like, I realized I just used it to pay, but now it is not here. So this is like 3 minutes after I walked out of the building. Immediately, like, grabbed all the kids, ran back inside Sam's Club to where we had checked out, thinking I must have left it at the register, because that's really the only option, right? Because I had literally checked out, walked to the van, put the first couple boxes in, was like, I don't have my wallet. And so that's kind of the option, that you left it there. And it wasn't there. It was gone. And so I take all the kids. I'm like, well, maybe somebody turned it in. You know, they're not going to panic yet. We're going to just see if somebody turned it in. We wait in line forever at member services because they were super busy. And I asked the person at member services, anyone had turned in a wallet. And they don't even, like, look around or ask anybody else. They're just like, no, nobody turned one in. And so I was like, oh, no, like, lost my wallet. What am I going to do? You know, like, an hour and a half from home. Got all these kids. Like, I promised them lunch and all this kind of stuff. And so I decide, I go back outside, like, tear the van apart in case I had accidentally thrown it in the trunk. Not anywhere in the van. So I sit in the parking lot with everybody who's really upset because they don't really understand what's going on and they want McDonald's. And wait about 30 minutes. And then I take everyone inside again, ask again at member services, anybody turned in a wallet? And the guy goes, oh yeah, somebody turned one in a little bit ago, but I don't see it here, so it must not have been yours. And I'm trying to set a good example for my children by not losing my mind at this person working member services, but I want to be like, can you try just a little bit harder? Can you, like, look? Can you ask a manager if it's in the safe? And so finally I just give up. And so thankfully I had my, like, card linked to my phone for, like, McDonald's. So I ordered McDonald's for them. I didn't need my card. And got them McDonald's, and then we just decided to go home instead of driving around.
So as far as the kids were concerned, the day was saved.
Yeah, the day was saved.
Still got
we go home. I call Sam's Club every, like, 2 hours until closing time. Because, like, it's got to be, like, I didn't go anywhere. So somebody either stole it from the register or it got turned in, and they're just not trying very hard to look. And so finally it comes up to closing time. They still don't have it. And my bank had told me if it doesn't show up, I really should call the police and just do like a police report that it was stolen in case somebody steals my identity from all the stuff that's in my wallet. And that way I'd have a paper trail. So I call the police department down there in the city. I'm like, I'm really sorry. And I explain what happens. They're super nice. And the officer that they connected me to was actually already in the area of the Sam's Club. And so he was like, well, I'll just go in and see if we can get footage or whatever, what happened, see if somebody swiped it. And the man walks into Sam's Club, asks at member services, and 3 minutes later they give him my wallet, which had been there all afternoon because Bozo 1 and Bozo 2 didn't want to actually check when I was standing there with 5 children to see if the manager had put it in the safe. So, at the end of the day, I ended up my wallet. I feel really bad that I had to bother the police department to get it back. And I'm also kind of annoyed that I was, like, trying to be really diligent, calling regularly, asking, and nobody was willing to do their job to check me. That's my end of my crazy story. But the good news is my wallet was turned in apparently pretty quickly after it was lost. So nobody took anything from it. Got all my stuff back. And then the next day we went to the police department to pick up my wallet, and then we took the kids to a really cool park, which we had planned to do the day before but hadn't done. So.
Yeah. It ended up okay, except we had to drive back an hour and a half.
Yeah, to go get it.
To go get it. That was the only tough part. But let's see. Becky says, Rotel, that's interesting. Never thought of canning that. I'll be expecting a video on that. Jepco is here. Hello. Sandy Berry finally caught a live stream.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're glad Laura got her wallet back too. That was, we were, like, canceling cards left and right.
Thinking about everything that's in there. And we got some doctor's appointments coming up, but then, like, you have to re-request a new insurance card, and so that I wouldn't have an insurance card in time for the appointment. It was like all the logistics, like all those mental logistics.
And this is a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was going to take extra long to try and get things back.
Very thankful that we got it back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't know how you push somebody to be like, man, I really need that. Could you, like, check somewhere or something?
It's really
when they're
hard.
Like, yeah, I don't have it, and they don't even look.
And it's really hard when you got your kids with you, because you teach your kids to be like, you need to be kind to everybody and, like, you know, not be mean or get mad, and you just want to be like I have things that I want to say to you, but they can't be said right now, sort of thing. So I probably could have been.
It's good
I
to
could've
teach your kids
probably
though
could've
to
stood
like
my ground maybe, but-
stand up for themselves too. That's always good. But
It all turned out okay in the end, thankfully.
did.
Apparently, I just needed a police badge to flash at somebody, and then suddenly somebody can go find a manager just like that.
You know, those
So-
people were like, "Oh, maybe this is an important wallet or something like that,"
So-
and then they decided to check.
Yeah, I actually had already canceled everything. That's a good point, Jebco. I had already canceled everything in the wallet because when we couldn't find it and I had already gone back in twice, at that point I assumed somebody had stolen it. And I didn't, we had like just gotten paid that day too. And I was like, that's the last thing we need. Somebody to like take every penny we just made, you know, when things are already really tight, waiting for Sam Star's job. So every card I canceled. So Sam's been my sugar daddy the last few days. Every time I go somewhere, I have to take his debit card with me because we have to wait for a new one to come. But yeah, I canceled all the cards just in case something like that did happen. So,
But
which is kind of annoying, but that's a less annoying problem. The insurance card was the thing I was really worried about because we have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. And I didn't want to have to show up and be like, I don't have a copy of her insurance card, sorry. Because I don't know what they would do. Like, I don't know if they just, like, if I just wrote down the policy numbers, if they take that, or if they turn us away if I didn't have it. Like, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Chris says, I switched to Costco because of Sam's Club customer service near me. Maybe they're just losing their level of customer service on a corporate level. It could be. You never know.
Maybe.
A lot of that stuff does trickle down from the top. Or just like individual managers that don't really care that much. Goobs.
Curly-headed gooby goobs.
Norma says, so glad you got your wallet back. I've been there. Hope you get to feeling better soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do feel much better. I sound kind of nasty, but excuse me, I feel a whole lot better.
Yeah,
So-
that cold had you kind of down and out for a few days.
Gooby
Sure.
goobs. So what about you, Sam? What's new for you?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Not just studying. I thought when I finished school, studying would be over, but it's not true. We gotta pass the NCLEX. So studying hard. Hopefully we get that behind us. And then, actually, I'm just ready for life to be normal because I start my job and the first 2 weeks are just orientation type stuff. So it's not even a normal schedule. I go in every day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks
But
for
it's not
orientation.
12-hour days. It's
Right.
8-hour days.
Yeah, 8-hour days, but it's orientation stuff. And then we do 6 weeks, and then it's like still more kind of orientation. It's going to be 6 weeks on nights, 6 weeks on days. So even that schedule, and I'm going to be with a preceptor the whole time. So I think all that's good. Like they want you to be safe, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate being with a preceptor and like gaining some more knowledge and skills. But it'll be 12 weeks of that where I'm hooked to a preceptor's schedule essentially. And then hopefully after those 12 weeks,
Get to be your own man.
then I finally will get like my own schedule, and I'm excited for that. I want life to, it's been so crazy for close to 2 years now. I'm just ready for a regular schedule and like life to be somewhat normal.
Hey, Goobas.
We live on a homestead with 6, soon to be 7 kids. I don't know if life's ever normal, but
Becky wants to know what's on your shirt.
what's on your
What's
shirt?
on your shirt? Who's on your shirt?
Baby shark.
Do you like Baby Shark? Baby Shark. Baby Shark's a favorite around here. So,
But anyway, that's what I've got going on. Just trying to get through. Pass this test, that'll be one big hurdle, and then yeah, hopefully get to a normal schedule in 12 weeks or so. There's still gonna be definitely more learning and like classwork still this first year. So what? You like looking at yourself on the screen, don't you? Mm-hmm. Susanna says it was a smart move to cancel all cards because you can't be too careful. Hope you feel better, Laura. Did you get a date for your test yet, Sam? Yes, it's going to be on Friday. So Friday morning, bright and early. I'm going to take it.
hey, you go
It'll probably take. They give you like it's a really crazy amount of time. It's like 5 or 6 hours. It'll probably take me 2, I would say, maybe 3. You'll have a minimum of. They've changed it this year. It's a brand new test and format and such this year, and so it's a minimum of 85 questions, and I think it's a maximum of 150. So that's not bad at all. 150 questions max.
Well, a lot of the questions have like multiple parts, though, right?
That is true. Some of the questions, I can't remember what they call them. It's but anyway, it'll be like you're with a patient throughout the day, looking at their chart, kind of a thing. So it's one question is actually like 6 questions. So that is true. It will be a little bit longer, and I think those types of questions, I can't remember. You're supposed to have like at least 5 or 6 of those, I think. So anyway, it'll be a long test, but I think it'll be good. I'm ready to get it behind me. We've worked hard for it, so that's what I've got going. But it's not. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll regret it. But it's not been nearly as. I've not been studying as intense as like when I was in school. So it's nice because I actually get to do things with the family.
We've done a lot of
and
things.
Get to hang out. It's been the kids. We live fairly close to what's called the Katy Trail here in Missouri. It runs from St. Louis to Kansas City. It's a really nice trail, and we live pretty close to it. And so when Laura takes some of the kids, or one of the kids, or whoever out for things, I've been taking the other ones down to the Katy Trail. It just makes them feel special, even though it's only like a 20-minute walk or so.
Right.
They think it's cool to go down to the Katy Trail.
Well, it's nice too because there's no
that.
motorized anything allowed on the trail, right?
Yeah,
So you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, just bicycles and
Kids
foot
getting
traffic. And so the kids can run up and down the Katy Trail. You don't have to watch them super, super close. It's really nice. They enjoy it. We've been doing that quite a bit. And just being able to do things as a family instead of like, oh, Dad has to stay home and like 1 or 2 have to stay home with me, and it's boring because I'm just studying all day. They hate that. So that's been nice. And then once I'm done with the NCLEX,
It's taken
I'll still have some studying to do, I'm sure, being a new grad and with my unit and stuff. But it hopefully won't be nearly as intense. I know I have to pass sometime within the first year a fetal heart monitoring class and test. I know I have to do that, so there'll be some studying, but I don't think it'll be that bad.
Susanna says 150 questions is a lot. How long is the test? You're given a specific time frame?
Oh yeah, I think it's I think they give you 5 hours to finish, 5 or 6 hours to finish. We did a simulated NCLEX that was 150. No, it was longer than that. I think it was 180 questions that we did at the very end of school. And I want to say, I can't remember. It took me 2 hours, maybe. No, like 2.5 hours, I think, something like that, for me to take it. So it's going to be very close to the NCLEX. That's not too bad, I feel like. It's like, taking the ACT and stuff. That was really long. And they give you breaks. Like, I think you can essentially take I don't know. They'll tell us when we get there. I think you can take multiple breaks, so it's not like you got to sit there for the whole 5 hours. It's not that bad.
And you don't necessarily get 150 questions. It tests you until it thinks it's assessed your ability level, so you might only have 80 or 90 questions.
Yeah, 85 is the minimum. You'll for sure have 85. But it essentially, it's an adaptive test. So if you keep getting questions wrong, it will ask you easier and easier questions. And if you get questions right, it will ask you harder and harder questions. And a lot of times they'll be on the same subject, so the computer's trying to assess if you're proficient in a certain subject. So they'll ask you, It'll ask you a certain number of questions about like the respiratory system, and once it's like, oh, this person does or does not know what they're talking about, then it'll move on to a different subject. At least I think that's how it works.
So what do you think's the hardest part of the test for you? Like what category? Kids? You thought pediatrics was hard because kids are changed so quickly?
No, the hardest part for me is for sure still pharmacology. There's a billion drugs out there, and to know all of the adverse effects and stuff. I've worked really hard on it so that weakness isn't quite as bad as it used to be for me. The other part that I really struggle on as far as body systems is cardiovascular. I don't know why. I feel like the heart and everything's like it should be like pretty simple and straightforward, but I test so poorly on it. So I've worked on that as well. But anyway, those are probably the two areas that I really struggle in. But I'm really good on like patient safety, so that's good.
Very safe.
Hopefully that does me well in being a nurse. Feel like that's one of the more important things is keeping your patient safe. So anyway, I also test one of the other really strong part for me is the psychiatric, which is weird too because that's not like a passion of mine. I did pretty well. I got an A in psych, but it wasn't like an easy A or something that I felt like I was just great at. But I test really well in that for whatever reason. Anyway, that's all things nursing in my life right now.
Some silly little people running
The little
around.
people are running. They're slap happy.
Yeah, it's past bedtime.
Well, it's getting close
Yeah.
to bedtime. Not quite to bedtime yet. But
3 minutes.
anyway, what else we got going with the big thing I think with the homestead is getting the sheep to the butcher
Yeah,
soon.
that's
That'll be
coming
the big change.
That's going to be
So-
the most complicated part because they're big, and I can't really help very much.
Man,
I'm sorry.
they're wild as can be. The white.
They're not like mean wild, but they're not.
Oh no,
They're not like the goats, which are like they were kind of like pets. Like they would just follow you everywhere.
They're
Sheep-
terrified of you. Wild.
Yeah.
We have a black sheep and a white sheep, and I think the white sheep I'll be able to kind of catch.
The black sheep's not interested.
That black sheep is like, I'm not looking forward to it. That thing, I'm probably gonna get a black eye trying to get that guy in a cage. So when we were trying to catch the goats to sell them, I had to kind of corner
go
one of the
upstairs a little
goats, and the black sheep was there too. And as I'm bending down to grab the little goat, that black sheep jumped over me. That's how like crazy he is. He's like, I'm out of here.
These are some nice looking sheep, though. Like,
Yeah, I feel like they're
bigger
pretty
than
good.
last year, so I'm
Mhm.
really excited.
Yep.
We've really, now that I know how to cook it, we've really been enjoying
Mhm.
the sheep meat. So
Yep. Beth says, how are the kids doing with their school year?
good. So far, so good. I still have a few curriculum pieces I'm ordering. Like I said when I made that curriculum video, just been kind of staggered ordering things to help spread out the cost. So it's not like, boom, $800 one time. So I still need to order their science curriculum, which I hope to do after he starts working because it's a little bit more expensive. But they're doing really good on everything else. This year when we started, we backed up a little bit with math because I felt like at the very end of the year, the math curriculum we were using suddenly went really fast, and especially Micah, she was like what just happened kind of thing. So I bought some real cheap review books like at the dollar store. You know, Dollar Tree is great if you homeschool because like I don't need a full curriculum. Like I just wanted her to review like her multiplication and her division facts to make sure like she really knew them before we start something new. So this last month we've just been working like it's been math review, and then they started their English and their reading and a little pieces of their science. So
Arkansas Prepper says, I love watching your homeschool videos.
Well, thank you. So It's going pretty good. I'm excited for the science curriculum to come. It's supposed to be completely all in one, including all of the supplies you need for those experiments that the kids think are so amazing. Then you read the ingredient list and you're like, where do I even find that thing? And so it all comes, like all of the chemicals or whatever you need come in tiny little bottles, just the amount you need. So I'm excited about that. So it's not going to be me searching Amazon for random things all year round. It all comes together. So we'll do an unboxing when that comes. But that should be good. But they're doing good so far.
I'd say it's nice too, now that they're starting to get older and they can read better and such and kind of figure some things out for themselves. It's nice to be like, you need to do these 3 pages. And they can mostly do them on their own. I think that's nice too.
Yeah.
Now that they're getting older, to be able to do that.
And Annie will start going back to school this week for her school time. So she goes 4 hours a week to public school. And that gives her different therapies that are taxpayer funded instead of insurance funded, which is great. So she'll get to start that. I think she's a little apprehensive, but she's excited. She really likes her teacher in the special ed class. She only ever goes to that special ed class, and it's just one-on-one work. But she'll start that up, and that's been really helpful for us too, because it's one less place I have to drive her, and it also doesn't interrupt the entire school day to bring Annie somewhere to get what she needs, because they're so far from everything.
Right.
The school bus comes and gets her for her couple of hours at school, and then brings her home for lunch.
Yeah, if we had to drive her there and then come back and then go get her and come back, it would literally take up half your day, and you wouldn't get much else done. But one of the things that they really work on with her is her reading, and so she's doing better with that.
Yeah, we're getting there. Susanna asks, did Annie get on new medication? Is she feeling better? So we changed her medication, altering the dose. One thing we noticed, so when you go in it's called an EMU stay. When you go in, the first thing they do is they take you off your medication to see what your brain does without anything. And we noticed pretty much right away when she wasn't on her daily medication that her recall memory was much better. Like, she tends to get stuck. Like, when you ask her, for school to read things or to recall information, she can find it, but it's very slow to,
it's kind of in a fog.
Yeah, or she'll be talking to you and she'll get lost mid-sentence, and we never really knew. She's been on medication since she was little, so we never really knew, is that just her or is that the medication? And it became clear that some of it's the medication, so we're doing some adjustments, going down on the medication we think is causing the problem, and seeing how she does, so that I think that'll help her with her reading, because it's just part of the biggest problem with reading is her recall time on what sounds letters make is just really slow, and that makes it hard to read. So
let's see. Julie says, I had my purse stolen out of my shopping cart when I wasn't looking years ago. I had hurt my foot and was limping. They found my purse, but he ran off with my cards. I had to cancel mine.
Sorry.
That's horrible.
It is horrible.
I can't believe somebody would do that. That's terrible. Tara is here. She's late, but she made it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Hopping in.
I work in a SPED resource classroom for junior high and high school. I absolutely love it. They have she just loves going to class. Sometimes she's not so keen. When it's early morning, we're like, all right, I gotta go get on the bus. Today's your school day. And
she doesn't like to leave mommy. That's the big thing.
But the classroom's got a swing inside and all sorts of amazing things to play with. By the time she comes home, she's got so many things she wants to tell you. She had a great day. So.
Well, she goes 2 days a week, and one day, the day when they make her do her reading,
that's
the day she hates.
But then the other day is physical therapy, which is so much fun, on the playground. So
yeah, she loves the physical therapy days. She's out there before the bus comes, ready to go. The day when she knows she's gonna have to do reading and sit there and have to concentrate and work on something that she knows she's not all that great at. Those are the harder days, I would say. Prep for Eternity is here. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. I'd say school's going.
I think it's been a really good blend. I think she'd get lost in a classroom, or she wouldn't speak up for herself loud enough if she was not getting it. She would just try to blend in, and so this way we're kind of really with her one-on-one on those subjects at home, and so we know when she gets it and when she doesn't, because I think it'd be easy. I mean, I used to be a teacher. It's hard when there's 25 other kids in the class, to keep track of everybody all the time, like just where they are and what they're struggling with, until they really are struggling. You're like, whoa, somebody is, having a hard time, but the rest of the class has already moved on. So I think it's, for right now, is in her best interest. What we do, long term, we assess that year by year for each of the kids about what's best for them. So
Sharon says, I'm late. I was helping wash the dog, but I'm here. I need to wash our dog.
Prep for returning, been pulling up ground cover all day. It's hot. Yes.
It was hot
super
today.
Hot today.
It had been pretty cool. I don't know, at least the last few days, but it was warmer today for sure. When I took the girls on the walk,
it was humid too. It was like swimming.
I'm trying to think. Like we went at, it wasn't super early, but it was like 9 or 9:30, and it was. Most of the walk, at least the way we go, is shaded, but in the spots that was not shaded, it was warm for sure.
I got a little bit of work done because I'm getting the greenhouse ready. I want to make it heated this year. I have some theories. I'm doing some reading about how to make it heated so that it lasts all winter long. But it was just so muggy and so hot. I did not get very far. So I think it's supposed to cool down later this week. So I'm going to finish that later this week. But we'll keep you all up to date. I have some ideas. It doesn't need a lot of heat. It's a little greenhouse, but like if it's going to be 10 degrees outside, like you got to pump the heat up a little bit so that everything doesn't freeze at night. So
Arkansas Prepper asked, is it raining there? I'm south of you with storms heading north. We did get some rain earlier, and it got super windy. I thought we were going to have some bad thunderstorms, but they just zoomed past us. So we got a little bit of rain and the bad weather. I swear, it goes around us so often. Yeah. Or when they say we're going to get nothing, then it hits us. It's one or the other. It's weird. We live really close to the Missouri River. We're like a mile away, and I really think that affects the weather pattern.
I think it pushes the weather. So, Becky said you'd be shocked at the progress I've seen in my students. Just getting a little help makes a difference. It really does.
That focus, the tension on something, it really does.
I think it makes a big difference. Especially with things like reading. It's hard to teach reading. People do it and they do a great job, but it is very difficult to teach reading to a large group of students, especially when you have students with learning disabilities, which is so diverse, and that one-on-one help is really, really important. So, and I do have to do an unboxing video too. I ordered her special reading curriculum, which I'll do that too, but I try to spread out types of videos so it's not like a whole week of homeschool or a whole week of whatever, because then I think people get bored. And so things are coming, just kind of try to spatter things in so that the channel is always rotating what we're showing you so that we don't lose anybody's interest, because we seem like we're getting too one topic. So Susanna says, I went to parochial school, but my mother drilled me, then times tables, and taught me my diagramming division. She might as well have done homeschool. Yeah, so
that's good to have.
You just having an involved parent makes a big difference.
Parent. It does.
Yes, baby.
It hurts.
It hurts. Did you bump your head? Oh.
Poor goobas.
Do we need to sign off? Are we all done for the night? Do you think? You just wanted to look at yourself again.
I think you're being a stinker.
No, I'm not a stinker.
You are a stinker.
No, I'm not.
No, you're right. You're a goober, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
What is such your name? Oh, I gotta tell you, it was so cute.
No.
We took Isla had her first gymnastics class.
Yeah.
Last week, she was so she was so excited for it.
She told me to bounce.
To bounce.
To bounce.
Oh, awesome.
So she gets there, and the teacher.
And she told me.
You know, we have her nickname is Goobs, and then we have 100 variations of Goobs that we call her, little nicknames. And so she runs up, and the teacher's like, "Oh, hi, what's your name?" And she goes, Goobisons, and then gives the heartiest chuckle I've ever heard. She was so excited. It was she was like, "What's your name?" She's like, "I'm Goobisons." It was like that. She was so excited for class. It was hilarious.
She's been going, because Ivy's been taking gymnastics.
Mommy.
Ivy's been taking gymnastics for over a year, and Goobs has always had to come along and just watch. It's been so hard to keep her off the mats. So I saw they offered like a 3-year-old class where, I mean, all they really do is just kind of run around and play games. But I was like, put her in that class so I don't have to chase her around the gym for an hour. She can be taking a class while Ivy's there. 'Cause she didn't want to stay off the mats.
She did great, and she had a ton of fun. I will tell you too, Patton wants to get out there and bounce on the trampolines and run on all the mats, so Patton might join gymnastics too.
Yeah, do you want to do gymnastics?
He just wants to run around like everybody else, pretty much. He asked to run on the mat about 100 times when we had him there.
My man needs a new diaper. We might have to call it good for tonight. What do you think, Pat? Let's see, Pete, thanks for stopping by, Pete. And Susanna says it's been super dry in Oregon. I don't want the flooding. I guess China had an Armageddon. Yeah, I've had some horrible weather. And I know Pete was underwater for a long time. I think it dried up for him.
See, Chris says when my daughter was that age, I used to tell her, Lauren, behave, and she would tell me, I am behaving. She was the silliest. That's funny.
All right, everybody have a good week. We're going to call in, put some little ones to bed, change some diapers. You want to say bye, Pat?
You say bye-bye?
Say bye.
There you go. Say bye.
Thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Yep.
Take care.
Take care. Have a good week. Be safe.